Time to sit back and smell the roses, as they say. So often we rush through life with no time to simply stand and stare, whether it be the beauty of a rose, this one's called Grace by the way, or enjoying the antics of the birds and the wild animals that are out and about in our gardens as never before. Many people have been thinking afresh during lockdown about what is really important, what is time well spent, and indeed what they should be spending their time and money on. Young and old are re-evaluating their lives and their career paths in the light of the lockdown, a light that has highlighted the strengths and weaknesses of things that were once taken for granted. What is life all about? And what is essential to living that life to the full? Meanwhile, the government, whilst sounding a note of caution, are telling us that it's time to get out and about, to shop till we drop, to kickstart the economy, to quote one or two phrases, as non-essential shops are at last opening up. Shops that by definition are selling those non-essentials that we have somehow managed to live without for the last few months. Private Eye had a wonderful cartoon recently that showed a housewife preparing to go to the shops and inquiring of her other half, "Anything else that we don't need?" So much for Mahatma Gandhi's oft-quoted words that we should live simply that others may simply live. And Jesus in Matthew 6:31, encouraging us not to spend all our time queuing around the block for the latest fashion accessory, or words to that effect. But that's the way that our consumer society operates. The shopkeepers need us to spend money that we don't have, buying stuff that we don't really need, so that they can have an income sufficient to pay their rates and taxes, so that local and national government can then get the money that they need to pay off our humongous national debt, with, we hope, enough left over to pay for all those services such as the NHS that we all rely on. And Jesus speaks into this madness and says, don't be like the pagans, who are quite happy to go along with all this nonsense. Instead, focus not on acquiring what is non-essential, but seeking kingdom stuff. And his cousin John backs this up by saying that if we are serious about living a godly life, then we need to be content with one shirt at a time and sharing what we have with others. And by kingdom stuff, I don't just mean the bare necessities, to quote Baloo, although that is always a good place to start, as so many still don't have the food and clean water that they need just to survive. I also mean that which helps to provide emotional, mental and spiritual well-being for us as individuals, as a nation and as a world. Beauty feeds the soul as much as food fills the stomach, and both are needed. William Morris once said, "Have nothing in your house that you did not know to be useful or believe to be beautiful." And if you go through each room and drawer with that in mind, you will see things with fresh eyes, and in the process see your life perhaps from a very different perspective. It's all radical stuff, and now is surely the time to make the change. Just as we are gradually moving from fossil fuels to renewable energy, can we economically work towards a society where we buy, sell and provide goods and services that we actually need for our health and wholeness, aiming in time to provide for everyone that which is essential and sustainable. Is that the real change that we need to see as we come out of lockdown? For as Mahatma Gandhi also said, you must be the change you want to see in the world. So as a follower of Jesus, can we try to live more simply this week as he did, and not be tempted to queue with the crowd for that which is not actually needed?